Hey YouTube, it's your beekeeper here. Today, this is going to be part 2 of the parking brake repair. I'm going to replace these shoes for a 2005 Ram 2500 4-wheel drive Cummins powered truck. This is the part number of the Wagner brake shoes, Z771. Figure I'd take you guys along for the ride. The last adjustment I did on the star adjusters gave me plenty of tension resistance in the parking brake pedal, which I know put plenty of pressure on the shoes, but I suspect the shoes are smoked. They're probably glazed. Somebody's probably driven on them in the past. So they have plenty of pressure on that inside drum, but there's not enough resistance. And on this driveway alone, it was still creeping forward, which would be the end of the last video. So let's go ahead and pull the wheels off these things, pull the rotors off, and let's see what we have going on. I'm not going to take you through the process. I'm going to block the front tires. I'm going to crack loose all 16 lug nuts before I jack it up, and then we'll pull the wheels off, and I'll bring you back here in just a minute. Idiots. So I've got the truck supported. I've got all 16 lug nuts loosened, but let me show you why I don't like tire shops. So there are torque specs to lug nuts. I was going to say lug bolts. There are torque specs for those things. I think this one is like 135 or 140 foot-pounds, right? These tires were just replaced in January. And yeah, this is a 1/2 to 3/8 adapter, whatever, but it's a good one. It's FAP-on. Probably older than me, so it's built with some good metal. Some good tool steel. But look at that. This left side. When I took this side off here to do the fender flare, just, was it last weekend or so? I had to get the impact. I tried doing this with this, and this is what happened. They obviously don't do torque specs. I hate that. That pisses me off, because if I was on the side of the road, so this right side that were properly torqued to 140, I think that's what it is, don't quote me yet, I have to Google it, I forget what I did. Anyway, 140 foot-pounds on that came off easily with this 1/2-inch drive breaker bar, with this 1/2 to 3/8 adapter, and a 13/16 deep socket, 6-sided deep socket, not a 12-point. This side here that I hadn't taken off yet, in theory, I don't know it 100% sure, but I'm 99.9% sure that tire was torqued down by the tire shop. I did this, and even the this guy here did the old ugga for a while before I was able to get it done. Anyhow, that's just my rant for the day. Alright kids, good grief, it just popped. I haven't seen, so of course I picked the most difficult wheel first because the adjuster's on top and the spring pack's in the way. So I backed that star adjuster out, and I can see the plunger, right? So it's all the way retracted, so I knew there weren't anything hanging up. Good grief, it just popped right now. I haven't looked at what the insides look at, but I was hitting it on this side of the dust shield. Let me see if I can get you better, just so you know. Right, where's my drip pin? Good grief, sorry guys, we'll edit that out. Just to the outside of the dust shield, which I think I did ding at a couple little spots, but I wanted to hit the rotor, but I didn't want to damage the rotor. So I was actually hitting it on the back side of this part. I don't think I'm strong enough to damage this cast, but you never know. Okay, let me set you down. And let's see what the parking brake looks like. I'm just kidding. Set you down, you're heavy. shoes definitely... Oh, I got a spring out. That could have been from all the hammering, truth be told. So this spring that fell out goes up top here. I don't know how well you saw that. I'm going to pull the shoes out. There are no self-adjusters on this. It just is what it is, right? This is the fixed pivot here. Alright, the inside of these guys look pretty good. Not scored. So these actually have quite a bit of meat left on them. They are the correct ones. But you can see these aren't all glazed. These guys are really shiny. That's the oil from me. There's plenty of meat on them, but they're shiny. So that's why they didn't have the friction. Got some O'Reilly's brake cleaner. We're going to run some brake cleaner on all these parts. And I always put a little dab of brake grease on the friction points. We clean this up really good, put some NICs on the back so that doesn't have a problem, and then we'll hit that with some brake clean and start reassembling. Okay, so there we go. Bottom spring is correct. The retaining clips on these T-pins are correct. Top spring. I got to make sure that that spring here stays intact when I'm adjusting it. So I'll be adjusting it through that dumb little hole. Make sure we're not jammed up against the thing of a deal. There we go. Okay. Okay, let's brake clean the rotor and put her back on. So some NICs, just a little dollop on each of the lug bolts, a little bit around the rim of the B-hole there. Brake clean on the rotor. Let's put her back together and get it adjusted. Alright, we're going to call this side done, except for the torque, right? I'll torque the lug nuts when it gets down. Now it's a couple hours into this gig. Let's start on this one. This one will be fun. Shoot. Shiny shoes again, probably. Much less oil, much more heat. That seemed to work quite well. Well, these shoes are shiny. So these shoes are really glazed. They got hot. Somebody drove on them, likely. Cool. I can almost see my face in that one. Oh yeah. They're shiny and glazed. Everything else looks good. Got a 50% chance of getting this thing right. First time around I got it wrong. You want to make sure your star adjuster lines up with your adjusting hole. The other way it's completely masked. Alright, a little brake clean on this drum, on this rotor slash drum. I keep calling it a drum because that's what I'm looking at. Let's put this thing back together. Oh no! Oh, you just shows you I was right the first time. I was right the first time. Son of a bitch. Remember what? You guys remember when I said you got 50% chance of getting that star adjuster right? I thought I had it right. Thought I had it wrong the first time I put it in, so I flipped it around. Do you see it in there? I don't. Do you know what this means? It's all got to come back apart. God, I'm stupid. So this has been an all-day project, and you would think at this stage of the game, the wheels are on, lugs are nice and tight, that I'd be celebrating. Oh no, no. I've always told you, good, bad, or ugly. I'll show it to you. You know this wheel's come apart twice now, right? Put it together, star adjuster was backwards, all had to come apart again. This side took me an hour and 40 minutes to even get the rotor off to start with. This one was much easier, but I did. So the final step, you do your adjustment, everything feels good, I got good pedal feel, and then you go to put the rubber plugs in the backing plates. I do this one first, I push a little too much and I pop it through into the drum, the parking brake drum. So this side's got to come apart. I'm like, welp, let's do the adjustment over there. So I do the final adjustment on that side, passenger side, and I push the plug through the back side again, and it falls into the drum. So I've just taken 15 minutes to sit quietly, listen to the birds chirp, because now that passenger side wheel has to completely come apart again for the third time, and this one for the second time. And I'm half tempted to just not do it tonight, but I'm just dumb enough to push myself to do it, because now we're losing daylight. It's like 6 o'clock. I'm not going to film any of it because I just need to set the camera down and pay attention to what I'm doing. And I don't know what I need to do. I just need to pay attention to what I'm doing. Alright, bring you back here in a little bit. The wheels on the bus go round and round. That one's been apart twice. This one's been apart 3 times. I think we're okay. Let's put it down on the ground and let's see if this will actually work. Oh my God. Okay. So here's some real talk right now. The last few months have been extremely difficult for me. Work is crazy. The people I work with are crazy. This shelter-in-place thing is crazy. I had to terminate one of my guys because he's crazy. So I'm down to 2. I started with 5. So I've been working way too many hours to try to keep up with all the service calls and still be able to do the job that I was hired for. It's the end of the day. This has taken me the majority of the day to do these parking breaks. And I just put everything together. I was getting ready to lower this thing. And look at that. Got the wheel on, got it torqued down. And I forgot to put the brake caliper on. Am I really that stupid? You can answer that if you want to. I'm just gonna lay here and stare at the sky for a little bit. I don't have any extra parts on the passenger side. I'll be back. Alright, we are holding on a hill. Engine's running, so you know it's not being held by its own gear. May have taken a few tries, but we're going to call this successful. Alright, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Gotta go, gotta run. See ya.